Welcome to Dangerous Ideas. We're going to be talking about how Joe Biden is going to build a border wall now after saying walls don't work for many years. We're going to get into that, the hilarious response from his spokesperson. We're also going to be talking about how the U.S. and UN have announced they're ready to invade Haiti. But don't worry, they're not calling it that. It is nice how they don't call it these things. And we got a bunch of other important topics for you, as well as California making it illegal to actually count the ballots in California, which that's always good to see. But I am joined today by Eleanor Goldfield.
Also, it's common censored. These are dangerous ideas.
Sorry, common censored.
Where we do have dangerous ideas.
We do.
But it's called
common censored.
So if you're listening to the podcast version and you're like, I fucking got lost, you did not.
And yes, the podcast is called Common Censored. So when you look it up, everybody, look up Common Censored.
Also, I don't know what's going on with my hair, but
there's been a lot of comments.
Well, like one side's floofier than the other. You see
floofier. Those listening to the podcast, can you tell one side is floofier?
One side is floofier.
I want to throw it to the commenters. What level of floofiness do you look for in your hair?
Well, so one side is more in touch with the Jufro side. The other side is more of like the toned down. There's some right brain, left brain stuff going on, I think.
Fair enough.
Okay.
I like it.
Thank you for your input.
All right, so let's start off. Oh, yeah, and everybody click subscribe, click thumbs up, click follow, and click the bell icon. Do all those good things. And thank you for being here, especially those of you at leecamp.net, my locals page, because that is how we support the show. All right, so this is coming from Miami Herald, except they won't let me read their fucking thing without getting past a paywall, so I'll just show you an image.
Fuck paywalls.
The multinational security support mission is what they're calling this.
There's a euphemism if I ever heard one.
It's what they're calling this invasion of Haiti. Will not technically be a UN mission. Have no worry, folks. It is not connected to the UN, meaning member countries are not obligated to contribute toward its cost, but it will be connected to the UN. According to the resolution, the force would be funded by voluntarily. Well, it says voluntarily contributions, but voluntary contributions. Even the Miami Herald can't fucking, can't you just do a quick grammar check, Miami Herald? By voluntary contributions.
This actually was written by AI, so the AI checked and it found that it had done nothing wrong.
The sad thing is it would be accurate if it were written by AI. Instead, it was written by idiot humans. Contributions from countries and authorization would initially be for a year. Oh, just a year invasion with a review after 9 months. Senior U.S. let me ask everybody, do you think the U.S. has any involvement in this?
I'd also like to point out that there's always a... okay. Hold
on. Rewind. Go.
I'd also just like to let everyone know that I'm not at my best right now. But okay, so the would initially be for a year. This is where that media literacy comes in again, right? Where like they say things where in your brain you register year and 9 months, right? Like that's what your takeaway from this article. But in reality,
you mean 12 months?
No, 9 months with a review after 9 months.
Oh, okay.
So you're taking away those numbers. Okay. That's how you process that. But really what they said is initially for a year,
right?
Which means nothing. It's like, well, I had a child initially for a year. I still have one. It's past a year, but initially I had one for a year. So that is still a true statement. It's like this kind of bullshittery.
It's like the United States saying we are planning on being pregnant for a year.
Right.
After that, we intend to do nothing else. I don't think that's true. But so, yeah, does anyone think that the U.S. has any involvement in this? Senior U.S. administration officials say the U.S. is committed to the mission's success and will work with other countries to identify sufficient equipment, personnel, and resources. So the U.S. is sending equipment, personnel, resources, or pressuring other countries to do that. They have declined to say publicly how much the mission is expected to cost, other than the U.S. plans to provide an initial $200 million in funding the invasion of Haiti. Half of that will come from the Defense Department. $200 million initially with no sign of stopping anytime soon, to invade Haiti yet again. This is not the first time. We'll talk more about that in a moment.
You know what this reminds me of? It reminds me of when the U.S. was supportive of the protests in Cuba, and I mean, obviously,
before they happened.
Well, before they happened as well, but it's like, well, because you're financially and in other ways logistically supporting the protests in Cuba. Like, actually, you're not just kind of ideologically supporting them, but that's the language. We're very supportive of this mission. Like over here, we're not, directly involved. We support it. Absolutely. It's like that kind of bullshit language that allows them to suggest that they're removed when of course they're not.
The entire way all of this is stated and all of this is set up is to try and make it sound like it's not a UN mission. It's not a US mission. It is just countries just coming together to have a little invasion. We're just invading a little bit, just a tip, just to see how it feels. Basically the UN was kind of created, so the UN and NATO were kind of created so that the US could invade places and pretend it wasn't just the US. And now even sending in a UN invasion looks not quite good. So now they've decided, well, we'll even take it a step removed from that. We'll say the US and UN support whoever these countries are that happen to end up invading Haiti in the coming months. Here's from the United Nations website. Guterres is the head of the UN, welcomes decision to deploy multinational mission. Speaking at the day after the Security Council voted to send the non-UN mission. They won't even say who it is. It's just dudes, just peoples be sent.
Which is why it's so funny that it's on the UN's website.
I know. The UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres has welcomed the development. We welcome this thing we created with the US. And then they go on to talk about how rough it is in Haiti. Well, first of all, the US and other countries fucking created the catastrophe in Haiti in the first place. And secondly, you can't, even if their intentions were just to help Haiti out, just looking to help, by God, we want to help those people. Even if that were true, which is not. Even if that were true, you can't send the biggest psychopaths in the world to come help Haiti. The people that have killed millions, literally millions, over the past 20 years of innocent people around the world. And now the US and UN are going to help Haiti.
I'm reminded here of Eduardo Galeano's quote, who was an Uruguayan journalist and author, who said, every time the United States helps a nation, they either turn it into an insane asylum or a graveyard.
Yeah, that's the kind of help we give.
And it's not by accident, by the way. Like, the U.S. does that on purpose. Of course, after the fact, the U.S. will always go, I'm sorry, I was trying to help, and I just killed 1 million people. But I was trying to help. It was really not my bad.
Well, and this is the latest development. This invasion of Haiti is the latest development on a long list of Western and U.S. backed invasions of Haiti, coups in Haiti. We literally kidnapped the first democratically elected leader of Haiti, Jean-Bertrand Aristide, and flew him in a U.S. military jet to Africa, where we dumped him. Just, you stay there. And that was 2004. We couped Haiti that way. So is Haiti doing well now? Fucking no. But it's also largely thanks to us. And then, of course, there's the ongoing destruction of Haiti that has been going on for generations. Since its founding, when it was essentially the first successful slave revolt, where the slaves took over, got their freedom, and legitimately had their own liberation. And they were then forced to pay billions, which for them, for a small country, is a lot of money. Then forced to pay billions to their former captors. They had to pay France for getting free.
France lost out on a lot of free labor. I think it's only fair that the slaves should have to pay for that.
And
that's
they only
sound economics. I think.
And so that kept them as a poor nation for generations. and they only recently like finished paying France. I think
I thought they were still paying.
I thought they finished paying them in like the
Oh.
90s or something, but whatever. It was recent. Like and now there's other, you know, World Bank and IMF economic debt traps that they're in as well. But so basically the US and UN are involved in invasion of Haiti that they've just announced, and almost no one is talking about it. Yeah, I'm sure. I'm not saying there's no CNN. I bet there'll be some CNN segment that's 2 minutes long where they say the UN has come together to help Haiti, and that'll be the end of the segment. But that is not really covering the story. One last note on Haiti, and one reason the U.S. and others might want to be involved in Haiti.
Want to be involved.
Want to see good things for Haiti. This is from 2010. Haiti headline: Haiti could have larger oil reserves than Venezuela.
Oh, here we go.
Amidst the utter devastation left in the wake of the earthquake that rocked Haiti on January 12th, new findings indicated the existence of 3 million barrels of oil offshore the island. The Great Antilles, which includes Cuba, Haiti, the Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, and their offshore waters, probably hold at least 142 million barrels of oil, 159 billion cubic feet of gas. So,
which, by the way, it's totally eco-friendly to go after that. It's not. It not only is it not detrimental to the people who live there, it's totally eco-groovy.
Your sarcasm implies there's some sort of problem with fossil fuels on this planet. You're saying fossil fuels are not good for all? I like to sprinkle them on my cereal. You know, everybody can use them their own way. They're just wonderful.
That's good. Well, be careful how much you sprinkle, otherwise our house is going to get invaded by the U.S. Army.
Well, that's true. Yeah, we could be cooed. All right, so there's an update on what's going on in Haiti, and you know they've announced this mission that they don't even say the countries. They're just like, countries will be invading soon, and we're looking forward to helping. We'll be giving $200 million and various equipment that may have a pointy end and may shoot projectiles, but
this is also this reminds me, and I have no idea if there are any Swedish soldiers involved. I kind of doubt it, but. For instance, there were Swedish soldiers that were sent to Afghanistan as part of the UN mission there. Now, explicitly, Sweden was neutral. Officially, Sweden was neutral, right? In that whole bullshittery that the US was doing in Afghanistan. But then what were Swedish troops doing there? So this is a way for countries that care more about their foreign policy PR than the US does. This is a way for them to say, well, we're not officially involved. It's a bummer what's going on there. We're not officially involved. And then they can just send a bunch. And I'm sure that there are probably some Swedish weapons because Sweden's one of the largest arms exporters in the world. But officially, these countries get to remain neutral. And again, I'm not saying Sweden has anything to do with this specifically. I'm just saying that in the past, countries like Sweden, and Sweden has been involved in these quote unquote UN missions that don't name any specific governments or name any specific nations. It's a nice like catch-all term because it makes it sound like a coalition, right? The coalition of the willing. Remember that? Like totally creepy, rapey, like that was just
literally countries pressured in to be the coalition of the willing.
Right. You're the coalition of the willing, right? Right.
It's like if someone told you, oh, me and her had great consensual sex. It's like, why are you saying that so much?
That's again like the language that's used and the way that they just try to shroud this in this this facade of justice and democracy, and it's absolutely disgusting.
Well said. All right, so moving on, let's talk about how Joe Biden, always the most amazing president we've ever had. I'd say the GOAT of presidents. Just truly incredible.
What the fuck does GOAT mean again?
Greatest of all time.
I disagree. A goat is a small animal with weird eyes that goes meh.
Just to let everybody in on this, Eleanor has asked me roughly 75 times what goat.
Because you know what? You know what? In my brain, there's not enough room
I mean, Biden does often sit there going, meh, meh, meh.
My brain makes space for specific things that I find interesting. That is not interesting. And so my brain goes, I don't care. And then it immediately spits it out. I've already forgotten.
So anyway, amazing President Joe Biden has announced, I didn't pull up an article, but I did pull up the response, has announced that they will now be building more of the border wall that Joe Biden said throughout his, what happened?
I've got.
Oh, you have one?
If you would like me to.
Do you want to email me?
Which one would you like?
Whatever you like.
I like this one. Okay.
Okay. Well, while we do that, I'm going to play the clip of Biden's press secretary responding, or I'll just play the beginning of it, but Biden's press secretary responding to people asking why Biden would be building a border wall when he had said repeatedly through his campaigns that not one more foot of that wall will be built, that walls never work. He said all this stuff about how dumb border walls are and how they'll not be built.
Tear down this wall. That was somebody else.
Somebody else, equally dumb, that fellow was. And anyway, here is his press secretary with very few answers.
That's the case. Why does his own Department of Homeland Security Secretary say in a public?
Helps if you turn on the.
Wait, it is on.
Oh,
that's weird. Why is that muted?
President just told me that a border wall does not work. If that's the case, why does his own Department of Homeland Security Secretary say in a public notice, quote, there is presently an acute and immediate need to construct physical barriers?
Here's what I can say. I can speak to what the president was very clear in saying, and also what you all have been reporting about this this construction. So the facts are this is not new. These funds were appropriated in fiscal year 2019 under Republican leadership, and DHS is required by law to use the funds for appropriated purpose. That's what we're seeing. This was announced back in June by the DHS. And so, look, we believe that there are better effective ways of moving forward to secure our border and security, our border security, and we have continuously asked for Congress to act, to provide our CBP, the law enforcement at the border, to give them the resources they need to do their jobs.
They have no resources.
And so we're going to continue to call on Congress. We believe, and the president has been very clear, even when you asked him, does a border wall work? He said no. And he's been very consistent about that. We believe that we need border technology that is modernized and land ports of entry, and that's what we want to see. And that's what I can speak to. And
all right, she just keeps saying that's what I can speak to.
So you can't actually speak to the thing that he's doing that he said he wasn't going to do because it doesn't work.
But also, legit, she just said, we don't want to build this wall. Walls don't work. It's meaningless. But our hands are tied. They've already allotted the money. As if he's not the president of the fucking United States. If he could just talk to someone who has the power to stop this.
It reminds me of, I didn't read it because why would you? Obama's book, where like one of the things that he says is, roughly, I'm paraphrasing, is like, I didn't want to perpetuate all these wars, but like the shit was already going. Who am I? Who am I to stop these wars? I mean,
what would you like to tell everybody what Joe Biden said about the Anita Hill hearings?
Oh my God. I wish I could have done more. If you don't know we don't have time to go through the whole thing, but basically he was running these hearings where Anita Hill was she was accusing Clarence Thomas of a sexual assault and harassment. And basically Biden shut down the hearings. He basically stopped them from moving forward. And then later he's like, I wish I could have done more. It's like, motherfucker, you ran them.
He was running them at the time, and he just wished he knew the guy with some power around here.
Right. It's like if it's like if you have if you're the umpire and then you call someone out at the plate and they were really safe. Like, look, I wish I could talk to somebody who could make calls like that, but I don't know who to fucking talk to. I'm sorry.
It's just, Democrats, I find especially, just don't know enough powerful people. They just keep trying to find that person. Biden wanted everybody to have $15 minimum wage, but the parliamentarian Just, oh, man.
Still don't know what the fuck a parliamentarian
Oh,
is either.
man. The joke's on us. There is no parliamentarian. But
But yeah, no, same thing with the debt, the college debt, right? The fucking look, I wanted to do the thing, and then I just realized that I can't because I don't want to.
But this is the ongoing bullshit from the Democrats. Of course, Donald
I
Trump,
sent you the thing, by the way.
thank you, who was a fucking disaster, did the opposite, where it was like, no matter what Congress said, he just fucking did it. He just did whatever he wanted to do. And he actually showed, I mean, yeah, a lot of it was awful, but he showed that presidents can generally do a lot of the shit that they want to do.
Also, not that it's really important, but Blue MAGA is trending on Twitter because of this.
Blue MAGA?
Yeah.
That's so funny.
So this is I recommend this account if y'all are interested. They usually put up good shit. This is called the Slow Factory on Instagram. So they point out that the Biden administration is set to waive 26 laws to speed border wall construction through indigenous grave sites, clean water pathways, and endangered species habitats of the Rio Grande Valley.
Yeah, laws that forbid all of those things. I think most of the 26 are environmental laws.
Well, if you go to the next page, it has a listing of all of them. I'm not going to read them. I mean, y'all can take a screenshot if you want. But like,
I'd like to go down a few. May I?
Please be my guest.
The National Environmental Policy Act, the Endangered Species Act, the Native American Graves Protection Act, the American Indian Religious Freedom Act, the Federal Water Pollution Control Act, the National Historic Preservation Act, the Migratory Bird Treaty, the Migratory Bird Conservation Act, the Clean Air Act, the National Wildlife Refuge Act, the Eagle Protection Act, the National Fish and Wildlife Act of 1956, the Fish and Wildlife Coordination Act. Okay, I'm getting tired. I'll skip towards the end. The Farmland Protection Policy Act, the National Trails System Act, the Administrative Procedure Act, and the Federal Land Policy and Management Act. Man, this sounds like someone who really wanted to fucking get this wall done.
Like, there are 26 reasons why you could have said, I can't do this. I mean, if nothing else, pull the Eagle Protection Act, because fuck, I mean, nothing says America like a fucking eagle. So just bring an eagle. I would love to see Biden with an eagle on his arm. You know, just bring out an eagle and be like, because of this guy,
I feel like
we can't build this wall.
I feel like Biden is so old and feeble, it would just fly off with him. And
but that's what I'm saying.
Eat him
that
in the air.
Would be good television. Ratings would fucking skyrocket. It'd be a good day for everyone, including that eagle. So as the Slow Factory points out, the U.S. border wall has a deadly impact not only on perpetuating human rights violations, but also in violating indigenous sovereignty, environmental justice, and the sacredness of nature. And again, that's not just them saying that. Like, literally, the U.S. of all places, actually has laws that say that this shouldn't happen. And even the U.S. And we have fucking shit legislation when it comes to nature and indigenous rights, and even the US has these laws that say like that shouldn't happen, and Biden's just like, man, I don't fucking care.
So hilariously, their argument is we would love to stop this, but the money's been allotted under Trump. We can't do anything to change it.
I know.
When in fact, they are fucking plowing over 26 laws to force through this monstrosity
for immediate action, by the way. Like, that's the DHS, Department of Homeland Security, is pushing these, is bulldozing these for immediate action on the wall. So it's not even just like, look, I don't want to do this, I have to do it, but I'm shelving it. It's like, we're fucking doing this now. And obviously, like, that's so fucking absurd. If that were how presidents work, then we'd still be doing shit that Washington put in place. Because if you can never... look, if I can't, the dude allotted the thing for this thing that he wanted to, I don't want to do it. But like, that's literally your fucking thing as president. You can be like, I'm not doing that. That's what presidents do all the time. And then it's just so fucking dumb.
Yes, indeed.
And again,
and we haven't even discussed the fact that the reason these immigrants are coming here is because we've destroyed their nations throughout Latin America. That needs to be repeated, but yes. Sorry, what was again?
I don't know, but since it started with again, I'm assuming I already said it. So we're good.
Okay, good enough.
We're good.
But yeah, there's the fucking shit show of the Biden administration continues down their clusterfuck path.
If you know anybody that is thinking of voting for this penis wrinkle, I swear to God, just slap them across the face. There's no nice way to do this anymore.
Voting for him or voting for a Republican, just slap him across the face either way.
But it's like, so I'm not saying that I think Republicans have a better analysis of the situation, but at least Republicans say, like, we fucking hate immigrants, so that's why we're building this wall. It's more fucked up. It is more twisted for you to say immigrants are welcome here, they're an important part of our society, and then do this. Like, that to me is more fucked up.
Yeah.
Because it like think about it on an interpersonal level. If you just saw someone and they were like, I fucking hate you, you'd be like, all right, I'm staying away from that person. But if you saw someone and they're like, man, I love you, it's just great, you're great, and I love everything about you, and then like as soon as you turn around, they stab you in the back, isn't that person more fucked up? Because you would have expected them to treat you better. And these are the, like, so when people are like, I'm voting Democrat, I'm like, so you are just a really psychologically twisted masochist. But you must be,
Stockholm
because
syndrome.
this is the situation, which I don't like that term. Because Stockholm is a beautiful place to get stuck in. So if you were kidnapped and brought to Stockholm, you'd probably love it.
All right, kidnap syndrome.
Sure. Also, why is it called kidnapping?
Because you
What is the
steal
etymology of that term?
you steal the kid and you let them nap. Was that not how that works?
I would, if anybody has insight into the etymology of kidnap, I'd love to know. Anyway, moving on.
It started from a guy who stole a bunch of children and then he laid them in a pile and he slept on them. That's all he did. He just wanted to take a nap on them. That's how it started.
He clearly had never been around children.
It's very true. All right, let's move on to and this is truly horrifying, but and by the way, in a few minutes, we're going to get to how California just made it illegal to actually hand count the votes in an election. That's coming up soon. But first, let's get to the finding on the assassination that took place against a forest offender in Atlanta, fighting against Cop City. We've already covered that story multiple times, that the cops went in and shot this person 50 some times and assassinated a forest offender. Well, here is the latest on what the city found.
So this one's tough. So if I lose it, just bear with me. Okay. So today, the Georgia Bureau of Investigation released a statement saying that essentially the killing of Cop City protester Manuel Tortuguita Tehran was, quote, objectively reasonable, and, quote, no criminal charges will be brought against any officers involved. And if you read this, so there's on this, there's a link, if you can see it on Twitter, that where you can go to read it. It's 31 pages and you can skim it and you'll get so angry that you'll punch whoever's sitting next to you. And they literally have created, as organizer Kamau Franklin put it in his quote about it, they've created a Rambo figure to justify this killing. They show Tortuguita shooting like an actual gun and throwing IEDs at police in a cloth tent.
What do you mean?
Which is impossible.
What do you mean they show?
They show in their report. That's what they're suggesting.
Right.
Tortuguita, they were shot 57 times with their hands covering their face and legs crossed.
Yeah,
and they are trying to suggest that Tortuguita was shooting and throwing IEDs. I'm not fucking kidding you. But so this is there's absolutely no evidence. The autopsy showed, several autopsies actually showed that there was no gunshot residue on Tortuguita's hands.
Right.
There is absolutely bullshit evidence to show that that they had a gun on them. The gun was most likely planted. The shots that these cops were hearing whizzing by their ears in the report were their own fucking guns.
Were each other, and there were different cop forces there, so it very well could have been, one firing at the other, but they were shooting at each other.
Right. because there were a shit ton of cops when, like, in SWAT gear. They were the ones Rambo'd up, and yet they have created a Rambo character out of Tortuguita in order to justify the cold-blooded murder of them while they sat in their fucking tent.
And Tortuguita, the way they know that they had their hands up is the autopsy shows that bullets went through each hand. Where if you're pointing a gun at someone, then it doesn't go through your palms and the backs of your hands. It's horrific. And they've made up all this bullshit. There's also leaked audio that I've played on this live stream before of the cops talking. It's on their body cam. You don't see anything, but you hear them going, you hear one of them going, "Oh yeah, I heard they shot their own." Yeah, did they shoot their own? Meaning they were shooting each other. And it really is just totally insane. Small correction. They fired 57 bullets. Tortuguita was shot something like 14 or 15 times or something.
I just somebody was asking about the link to the actual report, and I just emailed it to you so you can put it in the chat.
Okay.
So
Is there a
what?
Is there a way people can Google it?
I mean, it's called the Report Regarding the Georgia State Patrol Shooting at the Future Site of the Atlanta Public Safety Training Center in DeKalb County on January 18th, 2023. So I guess you could Google that word salad.
Google all that. I just put the link in the comments.
For folks who are just listening, I would recommend if you follow folks that are reporting on Stop Cop City on Twitter, you'll find it pretty easily. I'm retweeting this as well, so y'all can find it on my Twitter. But yeah, it's fucking disgusting. And again, it's not that, and I was just talking about this yesterday on By Any Means Necessary. It's not, I've lost my ability to be shocked by the terrorism and grotesqueness of our system.
Yeah.
But I will never lose my ability to be disgusted by it.
Right.
And I think that's a very important distinction. Like, when I heard that Tortuguita had been assassinated, I have to admit, I was a little shocked, but not as shocked as I should be. But I still am disgusted, and I'm disgusted by this. But I'm not shocked. And I think that part of that is we have to understand what we're dealing with, right? We are not dealing with a republic or a democracy or whatever the fuck you want to call it. We are dealing with a fascist state, if not in overt action, in policy, and in the way that the justice system operates. So this is in a country founded on genocide and slavery. I mean, it is important to recognize that this is what we're dealing with. And so then I think that you don't end up being shocked that much anymore. But again, always be disgusted. So yeah, this is fucking disgusting. And if folks are interested, they're organizing Block Cop City, which is a few days of action that are happening in November. You can go to blockcopcity.org and find out more about that there.
Well said, and yeah, I think we have to maintain our ability to be disgusted at minimum. It's tough to always be shocked by this stuff, but disgusted, absolutely. And as long as we're on the topic of protecting trees, these are forest offenders. Cop City is a $100 million project that would tear down one of the only remaining urban forests in Atlanta. Eleanor has an amazing new documentary out called To the Trees, and you can watch it at tothetreesfilm.com. And it really is a beautiful. Richard Wolff just called it. Was he the one that called it a poem?
Yeah.
He just called it a beautiful poem to the trees, but it also details many of these fighters that are fighting to protect, these amazing natural resources. So, tothetreesfilm.com.
Thanks.
You're welcome. Okay, everyone, we're about to get into how California has just banned us from being able to actually see the counting of the votes in California. That topic and more is coming up. The rest of this will be at rumble.com/Lee Camp, as well as my local. If you're watching it at one of those two places, nothing will change. It is free to watch on Rumble. Oh, that's a Biden slogan, right? Nothing will change. But yeah, so it's free to watch over at Rumble. So if you're not a member at Locals, just head on over to rumble.com/Lee Camp and join us there. We got plenty more stories coming up. All right. 1 second. Let me do this. Do you want to sing a song while I